All right, guys. So we got a few out. This is kind of part of the batch. I got like a whole bunch. Um, but I skinned them yesterday, but we already did a video on that. And then today is turning. Obviously, if you're squeamish or uh, have a problem with blood or whatever, why the hell are you watching a taxidermy video? But anyway, uh, so I've already got a skin, as you should have already seen in the other video. So it's tough, right? Because I got to do this close so you can kind of see what's going on, but then I'm going to have to move crap around because I can't, have it too zoomed out, and it's just going to be impossible. But so I already got the legs turned from yesterday. Um, Generally, what I'll do is kind of like, some of this extra, I just use little kid scissors, basically. Um, they're a little duller, a little smaller, but they'll take it off without cutting too much of into the skin. So, but I digress. So what I'm going to do is, when we do the wing, I put a little borax on here just to kind of get it. So I'm going to actually do 2 videos today. This is where the scaps run, right here, and you're just going to have to kind of get the feel of that. But like once I cut here, now you can see the scap quills, and so I'm just kind of pulling and snipping just a little bit. Um, oh, it's hard to do. It's this close. Let me move this stuff around. Um, this side here, because the flight web is coming up this part of the wing, so I'm just kind of cutting in. I know where the flight web is, so I'm kind of cutting a little high, so that way even if you get a little meat in there, that's fine. And I also know it's like, okay, the skin's running around here. It kind of runs a little higher. Again, I'll just kind of cut a little high, just so I know. And then once you get the line, now I can see where it's at. So then it's like, okay, now I know I can cut kind of straight through, and then basically just kind of go back and forth. So it'll be, uh, I kind of want to just get this disconnected, the flight web part. So now I just pull. Obviously, be just a little careful, but you can see it's inverted. So now I will kind of cut this little ligament, cut the little part here. There's a little tendon right there. You see it tightens up. Make sure you cut that. Wait, this is the dull blade. Come around here. So now I'm to the back joint. So then now I'll take just the blunt end, and I just kind of push that down. I'll kind of cut a little bit so it kind of relieves it. Break it the rest of the way, and then I'll pull, and then I'm like, oh, there's a few things that are kind of catching. So normally this little tendon there, kind of cut, and then I'll just use my thumb, kind of work it down, pull, work it down, pop it a little bit, pull, and so now I'm at the end. So then now I will kind of work it under, go get that popped, and I'm just kind of like working along the edge of the bone. So a lot of people, because a lot of people don't realize, when somebody's mounting a bird for you, you literally you're turning the wings and legs and tail and everything inside out. And because a lot of people don't even, I know, like when I first started, I couldn't fathom, like, like actually turning it inside out and somehow it not ripping and everything. But I kind of get to the end, and then what I do is I just kind of get towards that bulb, um, cut that off, because when I wire it up, I make a little divot in the body, and I don't want that bulb because then the wing will generally look like it's too far out. So then I'll just kind of come here, same kind of thing, just work along the bottom, work along the top, and then I'll kind of grab it, lift it up, underneath and up, cut that, cut away any other piece. So I think a lot of it, man, people, I don't know, when you look at the birds, there's so much crazy stuff that goes on that a lot of people don't even realize. But so you start. This is when after skinning it. This is obviously after being turned. So now it'll be a little thing, like you'll just scissor that little chunk off, and then whenever you flesh it, you'll pull it tight and clean obviously the bone. We're gonna do a fleshed one because obviously I've got like freaking 15 to flesh, but I got to get them all skinned and turned first. So that's the wing. I do want to say, if you have a break, for example, I don't know, this is a Canvasback hen, but let's say you have a break down here, or you have a break where the wing can actually bend, this part, you're going to lose the bone. And what's going to happen is as you pull down, say this, you have one break, you'll still be able to kind of work it down and pull and cut. If you have two, then you're going to get to a certain point where the muscle is going to pull apart, and then you're going to lose all of this. And then you're going to be stuck with just a little, and it's just the way it is. It's kind of like, it's just, get it pulled down to the same amount, even if you lose a lot of the bone. And then when you invert it, you're going to use the full non-damaged side as a reference. So like when you're wiring, if this one was completely broken off, I would wire this one, and then that would dictate, okay, well, where do I bend the wire on this other side based upon the measurements of this. You see what I'm saying? So it lines up. Let's go ahead and do the tail, and then I'm gonna cut this video, and then we're gonna do skinning the head. I already did it, but obviously I'm gonna do a video of how to skin the head for an artificial. But so tail's cut. Again, you got to watch the other videos. I can't keep going back, but I kind of just get it tight, and then right above kind of the cloaca, I'll start cutting. And the whole time I'm just trying to put pressure with my thumb. That's where a little borax helps. You always feel the bone right here from where you snipped it off. So you're just cutting basically right on the other side of that bone. And then as you do that, keep pulling the bone with your thumb. Then you're going to start seeing these two little glands start appearing. And then once you get there, now you know, okay. So then here, same thing. I'm just pulling. I'm always trying to pull to create. So now I'm cutting here. Oh, spam call, perfect. So this is like a true normal day-to-day spam calls. Cut here. And again, I'm just trying to use whatever I can to put some pressure on it. And then now you can see, I just want to kind of go in between the two balls right here. And they're not balls, but they're glands. So now that's starting to appear. I'm just kind of gently working around these guys here. Again, just trying to, because the quills are right here. You got the gland, quills, and then of course the skin. So I'm just trying to, and like I said, I have a light on, so hopefully, it looks bright on video. I don't know how well it's showing up, to be honest. It's, everything kind of looks pretty similar in shade and color, so I don't know. Maybe you have to watch it in the dark or something. Anyway, so I get to the end, so you kind of see the little kidney-like kind of shape. So I cut down at the base. Now, I'm going to get my thumb, and I'm going to kind of grab that little gland and start cutting basically along the quills. So I'm separating it from the quills. you'll start to see some of that oil leak out, which is the oil they rub on their feathers to waterproof them. So which is kind of neat. So this little stuff here, that's how they waterproof. Then I'll go on the bottom here. So now I'm back. I'll kind of cut it to where it starts hitting the quill. But now I'm angling up. So now I'm kind of cutting, so it's kind of scraping along the quill. So you can see that start to appear. Same thing, just flip, do the other side. And like I said, guys, hopefully one day I can get to it. That I would really like to live stream, like just like this here. I'm doing, you know, I don't know, 8 or 9 birds, and I'm skinning and turning, and obviously I wouldn't mind just having the camera rolling and be able to converse and talk. So hopefully, if you could share. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I really like to get up that just so I could have the ability to live stream. That'd be really cool, and I think that would be much more helpful for everybody. But I cut this, and so I just kind of cut down into the V, and then generally you can just take it and kind of twist and pull. And then, so now we have our tail, which will be fleshed, and that'll be going over soon. You're normally going to have this meat here from when you skinned it, because you don't want to, if you have to take a little meat off when you're skinning it, that's fine, because it's easier to do this than it is to try to fix holes that you cut because you were cutting so close when you were skinning them. So, and then all I'm doing here is, with these little kid scissors are kind of nice because they'll kind of lift that meat up and not pinch too much of the skin, causing it to, because actually here, there's still like fat on here, but the meat's gone. So I'll do that to the other side. As far as the when we flesh, we'll talk more about that, but basically it's just doing that to the other side. Obviously I'm going to do this wing, but we've already did the main stuff, so it's just rinse and repeat for everything else. But for the tail, same thing. Then when you flesh it, and then as you kind of get to some spots maybe where the fat's not wanting to cooperate and there's like little streaks or clumps, then you could come in with the scissors, boom, boom, knock it off, flesh it. Generally, especially if you take it out and wash it with a little sprayer, once it hits the skin, it like there's like a film that kind of arrives or comes up, and that film is much easier to flesh and to scissor because right now it's kind of dry, it's been skinned, there's borax and everything, but if you rinse it off and it'll get kind of filmy and it'll raise, that fat will absorb that water and raise up and then make it much easier. And but again, we'll go over all that. But anyway, so that's the turned wing. You can see this pretty good shape. This is the flight website over here. This is kind of what you pin into the body. This is the scaps. You want to make sure the scaps are real clean. So when you flesh them, make sure to go in with scissors. And because you really I won't be able to get deep into it because when I flesh it, it'll kind of get a little bit more. But you can see, you want to really kind of make sure there's just quills and skin there. So anyway, that's turning the wing and tail and a little bit of scissoring. And I'm going to shut this off here. And next will be for the head. And that's it. So thanks, guys.